Have you met Jessica? It is the latest slash signature model. And it comes with a bit of a controversy. Can you guess what it is? Yep, it is a 3-piece maple top. Not everybody is a fan of the 70s and 80s guitars from Gibson, but I like this one and I'm gonna explain why. At the end of the video, I'm gonna give you 3 perspectives of why you should or should not buy Jessica. Can't do it anymore, boss. I'm tired. Don't cry, baby. Just one more. I'm just kidding. Let's check out the Gibson website. Oh my god, it's Slash again with the 1963 ES335 Collector's Edition. Look at that face. Electric guitars, by collection, artist, and you start to see what I'm talking about. Here we have the Jessica that I'm gonna show you in a minute. All sorts of Kirk Hammett stuff. And look at that. Slash Brazilian Dream, Slash Les Paul Standard Appetite Burst, the Victoria. And don't even get me started about the Epiphone version. There's an entire section in the website Slash collection. We got the Appetite Burst, Victoria, and an acoustic. And if you open the Appetite Burst, these guitars I've already reviewed most of them. The Appetite Burst, the Vermilion Burst, the Anaconda. I gotta get my hands on the November, but you catch my drift, right? There are a lot of Slash signature guitars. Then what makes this one so different from the rest? Well, mainly the cool story behind it and the 3-piece maple top. Tell us, Slash.
This is Jessica.
Oh,
this guitar has been with me since...
It didn't look like that when you bought it, I
1988. No, it's faded. I fucking dropped a cigarette on it and it's stuck there.
And all of this, that
is
is just legit on the road. Oh, wow.
You know, it's funny to have a guitar that was brand new and it's one of those guitars, you know when you buy used guitars and you see the necks all worn off and you think about the amount of time and work that went into doing that? This is actually for me, so it's a trip.
So this came into the mix then, 88-ish?
I got it in 88. I was on the road with Guns and I was retiring my 2 replica 59 replicas that I had, and I called Gibson and they sent me these 2 guitars. It wasn't this original case, it was those black hard
protector.
And it was a bright cherry sunburst. Both of them were pretty identical, and I started using those on the road for a while, and then I had them refinished so that they were a little duller, not this dull.
Yeah.
And it became my main stage guitar and the backup for all the way through Guns'n'Roses, and then on through Velvet Revolver, and now with Guns'n'Roses.
It's still out on the road with you now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's a 3-piece top.
It's a 3-piece top. It was a factory second that they sent me.
Well, why is it called Jessica? Tell me, give me the. Do you name all of your stuff? Only certain ones get names.
And I named this guitar when I was drunk, and I do not remember what the catalyst for that was.
But Jessica was involved. Yeah, gotta check this thing. So this, I mean, you're typically known for these big, kind of fat necks on the current stuff we're making. This is kind of medium.
It's a medium, yeah. And it's interesting because it does really have a great sort of unique sound, you know, because I take a lot of guitars out on the road, and with Guns, this is still got this very specific sound compared to all the other Les Pauls that I have out there.
Are there certain songs in the set that this is?
Mostly Appetite songs, and you know, a couple of the Use Your Illusion songs.
That's some vibe right there. All right.
Well, what do you know? Here's Jessica in the late 80s during the Use Your Illusion tour live in Tokyo. God damn it, Axel, what are you wearing? Put some clothes on. Anyway, I'm not sure if this is the original cover right now. Seems a bit faded. Maybe it has faded a bit at this point, but it might be the actual cover from the factory. It's definitely before the refinish when it starts to look like a honey burst. And here's the back of it, not so worn out, but still you can see the belt buckle rush. So, Jessica is a Les Paul standard from the late 80s with a 3-piece plain maple top. I'm quite surprised that it took Gibson so long to recreate this guitar, given that it has such a huge role in Guns'n'Roses history, in Velvet Revolver's history, and again in modern Guns'n'Roses history. I got a question for you though. How close do you think that this modern recreation of Jessica is to the original? Besides the 3-piece plain maple top, I didn't feel this guitar to be anything different than a Les Paul standard. They claim that the neck profile on the Jessica, the original Jessica, is thinner. I didn't feel something like that. I've measured it. It feels thick as normal Les Pauls from the 57, 58. Anyway, my point is that this is probably more of a marketing trick and a cool modern guitar rather than an actual recreation of Jessica. If this was supposed to be a perfect replica, it would have been a custom shop Murphy lap thing, a limited run, I guess. Actually, I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be such version down along the road, a Murphy lap custom shop Jessica. I'm not sure about the Epiphone version, but if you look at the other guitars that Slash released, the Appetite, the November, there's bound to be an Epiphone version, and my guess is that it's gonna have the Gibson headstock. I'm sure that Epiphone can even use a 3-piece plain maple top instead of veneer. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Like it or not, this is the new Slash signature, a 3-piece plain maple top version of most of his recent guitars. Is it gonna be a successful run though at this price, and who's gonna buy it? I will try to answer these questions throughout the course of this video. The official listing as of right now, it is $200 more than the Appetite for Destruction Burst. It has a similar price to the Les Paul Slash Victoria. As mentioned, a 3-piece maple top and a non-weight relief body. The neck profile is listed as 50s vintage and it's a chunky boy. I didn't feel it to be a medium like Slash mentioned. Medium jumbo frets with fret over binding. I'm gonna show you the frets later in the video. This seems to be a feature, not a bug obviously. Some differences in the listing of the Appetite Burst and the Victoria. Some of them don't have the aluminum Nashville bridge, some of them don't have the aluminum stub bar. I'm not sure, I have to check them out in person. I didn't like the custom burst bucker I only could use, but that's what most of these models have. So most of Slash Les Paul standards are similar, minus a couple of small differences. Comes with a hard shell case, Slash pick set, extra bonus truss rod cover and leather strap. Much too, that doesn't work. Before I start with the overview, I have to address a couple of things. First of all, I wanna check out the string height before I adjust it, and this fingerboard definitely could use some of the finest fingerboard oil by Music Nomad. I'm not yet sponsored by these guys. I mean, come on, notice me. Oh boy, the factory setup is not gonna do it. Over 225 for the 6th string and 175 for the 1st string. The string action is too high. I can definitely lower the bridge a bit and adjust the truss rod. Once again, for your viewing pleasure, a video of me oiling a fingerboard. Remember, the idea is the oil to get into the wood, not to stay in your rag. So 1 drop of F1 fingerboard oil between every fret and then gently rub it in the wood. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, you like that, don't you, Jessica? Please don't unsubscribe. In fact, subscribe. Did your subscribe button light up? Anyway, time for a little rant. I know rosewood is supposed to be a porous wood, but there are some rough patches on this particular board. I don't know if you can see them on camera, but I can definitely feel them and sometime on bends as well. So the fingerboard could have been selected a little bit better. What do we got under the pickups? In the neck pickup cavity we got WH, my guess is washed honey. The name of the cover is Honeyburst, but yeah, okay. The separation line between the solid mahogany body and the plain maple top. 3-way switch and pickups routing, the Gavit conductor wire for the pickup. Of course, we can't see the 3-piece maple top from this perspective because you see there are 3 pieces that connect here, and the pickup portion is in the middle. I don't know what I expected, a 2-piece plain maple top with a 3-piece plain maple veneer maybe? No long neck tenor for the glued-in set neck. The bridge pickup cavity says LPSSP3, probably Les Paul standard / 3 pieces, my guess, I don't know. Also the continuation of the routing for the pickup cables and the 3-way switch cable. Everything seems fine here. Jessica features a set of custom pickups. Rhythm Custom Burzbucker Aunico 2, produced at 21st December 2023, and the patent applied for or PAF sticker on it. A slanted cream pickup ring, black covers for the coils, and chrome screws. Same goes for the bridge pickup position. Lead Custom Burzbucker Aunico 2, produced at the same time as the neck, patent applied for sticker. This set was produced in the same day. As a set, of course. A set. Some model numbers on the pickup rings if they are useful to someone. M69, MR492. Again for the bridge, M69, MR432. But don't take my word for it, I cannot see them properly. Business as usual at Screw City. Since the neck pickup ring is lower than the bridge, we have short screws for the neck and long screws for the bridge. Again, I'm gonna be nitpicky and say that I don't like the way that the coils were wrapped. You see this, especially when you're looking at like that when you're playing, it's noticeable. Not a big deal though. Before I measure the pickups, let's go through the control scheme. It's the usual stuff for a Les Paul Custom, a 3-way switch with a cream washer and an amber tip. Gold font of course, and gold top heads to go with the theme of the guitar, raised above the body. No dial pointers, nice and comfortable to me. Bridge volume, bridge tone, neck volume, neck tone. Measuring the pickups, custom Burzbucker starting with the bridge at 884k ohms. And remember, this is Aunico 2. It should sound creamier and softer, but this sounds hard and harsh to me. I didn't like it too much. Switching over to the next custom Burzbucker at 852. This is still hot for a neck pickup. An interesting combination of pickups. They are a bit hard, but I guess Slash plays rock, so it's okay. I'm not sure if people that play softer music are gonna like these, but it is what it is. 433 in the middle position. Here's what we have for the bridge and tailpiece. An aluminum Nashville to pneumatic bridge. It's pretty lightweight, I'm gonna demonstrate in a minute. It's adjusted by a thumb wheel and a 2.5mm Allen key. Unlike some of the older models that only had the thumb wheel. So that's convenient, I guess. Looks a bit weird to me, but we'll get used to it. On the underside, it's marked API. The intonation is adjusted by a flat head screwdriver. I'm always surprised by the weight of these aluminum bridges and tailpieces. Man, this is so light. Advanced plating on the back of it. Weighing the bridge at 28-29. Again, this is extremely lightweight. I'm used to seeing bridges weighing twice that, 50-60. The tailpiece is also extremely light, as I mentioned, 34. And both of them, 62. Here's the most distinguishable feature of Jessica, the 3-piece plain maple top. Let's count them. 1 separation line, the middle piece 2, and the third one. And I gotta say, these had been selected beautifully. I love it how both outer pieces follow the same direction and the middle piece has this pattern to it. This being a Gibson Les Paul standard, of course, features a nitrocellulose lacquer finish. And it's brand new. Of course, Slash's guitar has been used over the years, it has been refinished and repainted in order to achieve this dulled down effect, as Slash called it. Obviously Gibson couldn't call it washed cherry, so honeyburst. Single ply cream binding for the top, same goes for the neck. Okay, here's my biggest rant about this guitar. I don't see any fret edge binding. Medium jumbo frets with fret over binding is what they call it. And I think it's an excuse from Gibson not to do the fret edge binding, because lately they are not doing too hot with the binding of necks. Rough instrument marks, buffing wheel felt, glue sticking out of the frets. At this point I don't think it's a QC issue. I think the workforce that they have, the workers are not yet skilled enough to do fret edge binding. At least the Gibson USA, the custom shop, is doing fine. So yeah, it's a feature, not a bug, right? Because Slash's Jessica is refretted. But if you're gonna go for the refret look, why don't age the body as well, huh? Anyway, the trapezoid acrylic inlays are okay. I especially like the one on the 3rd fret because it has a little bit of yellow in it. Features a Graphtec nut, the height is okay. I'm not too happy with the polishing of the edges here. Has some rough spots. The headstock, of course, features a black veneer over the mahogany. It has the Gibson dotted eye mother of pearl logo and the Les Paul model silkscreen deluxe tuners. Here's what the truss rod cavity looks like with the traditional one-way truss rod in here. Here's what the truss rod cover looks like. 2-ply Gibson bell with the 2 screws, slash signature on top, and the cool thing about it is if you don't like the slash signature, you can replace it with this blank one that comes included with the guitar, giving it this clean standard look, almost like it's not a signature guitar. Last but not least, here's what the body would look like with the included cream pickguard. It has a chrome bracket, the screws are included, and it has felt over the nut to protect the nitrocellulose finish. The nut is a little over 43mm because of the rough spots I felt. The 12th fret is at 43.3mm or 2.09 inches. Thickness at the first fret 22.5mm or 0.88mm. Almost an inch at the 12th fret. It's a chunky 50s boy, and the original Jessica is supposed to have a medium 80s. She's a thick girl as well, with a little over 2 inches for the body and top. Perfect spacing between the pickups at 2.36 inches or 60mm. The usual comfy 12-inch radius for a Les Paul and the traditional 24.75-inch scale length. Here's what the 50s vintage neck profile looks like, especially rounded off at the 12th fret, similar to most 57-58 Les Paul standards I've tried from the custom shop. Here's the red back of the guitar, mahogany, single piece, non-weight relief, nitrocellulose lacquer finish. No binding for the back, a little thicker than the Les Paul Custom for example, which is usually around 50mm, this is 51.7, probably because of the plain maple top. She doesn't feel that heavy though. Here's the plastic cover for the 3-way switch, no shielding, gloss finish, and here's the cover for the electronics. Again no shielding foil. Here's the 3-way switch, it comes on a bit of an angle, it's not straight because of the curve of the top in front. It's probably switchcraft. Here's the electronics compartment with 500k pots in it and orange drop capacitors. The pots are branded Gibson, but they're probably CTS, and I'm gonna give you a closer look at the capacitors. The pots and the grounding are mounted on this plate, which I'm not too familiar with. I have to do a bit of a research. You know what, you lazy bastards? It's time you contribute to this channel. Let me know in the comments section the exact name of this wiring. A chrome plate for the output jack and Shure strap locks. The official Gibson website mentions Shure strap locks, but I'm gonna show you the rest of the mechanism in a minute. Here's what the back of the chunky neck looks like. High gloss, single piece mahogany from the heel to the headstock. I always expect these 70s and 80s guitars to have volutes, but this one doesn't of course. Slash's Scully logo is back here and the Gibson Vintage Deluxe tuners with the keystone buttons. Made in USA and the serial number 2024 40203. And remember, we read it like this: 2 and 4 is 2024, 024 is the 24th day of the year, which is supposed to be January 24th, but if we look at the pre-pack checklist, we got the 5th of February. This of course is because the serial numbers are printed on the woodwork before the fit and finish, which is done later. So my guess is that it takes 2 to 3 weeks to finish one of these bad boys, but of course they're sitting somewhere most of the time. Here's what the Gibson branded Vintage Deluxe tuner looks like. PW on the inner side and the Gibson logo. I think the original ones were Cluson. It weighs 31 grams. The owner, who's a good friend of mine, requested I equip this guitar with 1046 Elixir nanowebs. And since I have to adjust the truss rod, I took the opportunity to demonstrate the multi-tool included with the guitar. I always wanted one of these. Unfortunately the custom shop does not include them, only the Gibson USA guitars as far as I know. And now I'm kinda relieved I don't have one of these because it doesn't fit the nut of the truss rod. Whichever angle I tried to point it out, so I got this from my Gibson Les Paul Custom and it fits like a glove. So keep your multi-tool and give me the baby photo, Gibson. Here's what the case looks like. We're used to seeing this brown Tolex, but there are some new features on this particular one. The hinges are bulkier and they have this gold satin finish to them. The placement is the same though. The second one is the locking leather handle, third, fourth and the fifth in the back. The Gibson logo in gold, but there's a bit of a surprise. I'm expecting the lining of these cases to be pink and this one is red. Doesn't really matter though, because as Slash mentioned, the original case for Jessica was the chainsaw case from the 80s. I'm not sure if this is stock, but it's supposed to protect the case from the strap button, and compartment for accessories with the Gibson leather handle that opens like this and has the back. Before I show you the accessories, here's what the underside of the case looks like, and there are support points here as well. Silica gel in here, and the case is made in Costa Rica in October 2023. Most of the accessories came in this Gibson branded nylon back. I'm gonna get rid of it and start with the Slash branded picks. Slash is known for using Tortex picks around 1.14 gauge. I'm not gonna open these up, I'm gonna leave it to the owner. You got black, red, yellow, green, and another pack of these. Cool stuff to include these, I guess, but I would have loved a certificate with Slash's photo or something like that. Or at least a baby photo, which is missing, but we have the Gibson cloth, I guess. This I'm gonna show you a bit later. We have the owner's manual, which we've seen on a lot of guitars with the Les Paul and the Flying V. Then we got the multi-tool, which didn't do much of a job as I demonstrated. I always wanted one of these, but I told you, they're not included with the custom shop instruments, they come with the Gibson USA ones. A Gibson leather strap in black with the gold leathers, classy. Here's the rest of the strap lock mechanism by Shure, but it says Grover on it. So which is it, Gibson? Shure or Grover? Maybe Shure pins with Grover locks, the biggest crossover. I've showed you how the pickguard looks on the top. It's good that it's included, says chrome on the package, and the screws are included with it. And if you don't like Slash's signature on your truss rod cover, here's the blank one included from Gibson. I think Gibson knew that not everybody is gonna care for the Slash things included in the package, and they're just gonna see this guitar as a beautiful Les Paul standard. I mean, if you ignore the picks, if you ignore the Scully logo on the back of the headstock, you got yourself a nice Les Paul standard. I wouldn't rely on this lock too much, I guess it will only keep children away. The new style of the pre-pack checklist, the old one was folding like a harmonica if you remember, this one is much more compact. I'm not gonna attempt to guess the full model number. Les Paul standard Slash 3-piece washed something something, I don't know, you figure it out. The original box that Jessica came in with the Gibson Les Paul custom headstock on it and the label that reads Slash Jessica Honeyburst. The case is a bit bulky at a little over 10 pounds. Jessica herself is not that heavy at a little under 10 pounds or 4,246 grams. Now let's hear how she sounds. I buy a Jessica? I'm gonna try and give you three perspectives. First, as a player's choice, my personal guitar, no I wouldn't, because I prefer the Les Paul Custom, meaning I prefer thin C necks and hotter pickups. The aesthetics are not my cup of tea. I'm not talking about the three-piece maple top. I don't like rosewood fingerboards. I don't like the trapezoid pearloid inlays. The neck is an absolute chunk. I don't think they modeled it after the Jessica. I think they just did the 50s style, like the early 50s style. Chunky neck, almost an inch at the 12th fret. Second perspective, would I buy it as a Slash fan? Absolutely, especially if you've been a Slash fan for years. Maybe you had a couple of the Epiphone versions like the Victoria, etc. As the owner of this guitar, you had the Appetite, the most famous guitar, and now you want something different. Yeah, it's not that far off from the Victoria and Appetite and the other guitars, but it definitely stands out with the three-piece maple top. It's not a groundbreaking new guitar, it's just variety. What I would do though is buy Jessica and swap the pickups immediately. I didn't like the custom burst buckers at all. Hey, you can always buy the Seymour Duncan Slash set separately. And here's the third perspective. The Slash Jessica is an excellent Les Paul standard. And a unique one at that, like the Adam Jones that I've reviewed. So if you're tired of all the flame maple figure tops, the cherry burst, you can get the Slash Jessica and just remove the truss rod cover, put the blank one on, and you got an excellent Les Paul standard, a clean one. I like the Jessica and I recommend you check it out.